Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And we have on stage Laura from Consensys, Carl, he's a crypto OG and also a big investor, and Chao from Withzard Flow, also like a VC. So really glad to have everyone here today, and we'll be discussing some of the like challenges and also like opportunities of like convergence between maybe TradFi and also the more crypto native sort of world. And as we see, like earlier this year in January, SEC like approved the first batch of Bitcoin spot ETF. And then we see that even in the traditional world, there are quite a lot of like noises, and also there's quite a lot of capital inflow into this area. So if Hong Kong also like start to implement like these sort of financial instrument, which actually we already hear a lot about it, and there's a lot of like rumors or like expectations that it will be approved really soon. In fact, I just saw a news saying that 2 of the entities might be getting approval in April. So even though it wouldn't be a really long time ahead from the expectation of the market. So under this sort of like setup, like what do you think this will impact like Web3 and also the traditional finance world? Maybe we can start with Laura.
Sure. Actually, this question is for the previous.
Yeah.
It's not for none of us. We just discussed this, saying none of us can comment on ETF.
Yeah, on ETF,
yeah, but
right?
we can provide some preliminary thoughts if that's appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, generally, people are talking about crypto more from an asset allocation, portfolio optimization perspective, and any new product in any new jurisdiction is going to increase access, increase ease of adding this new asset class into a portfolio mix. So that's something that's just generally been talked about within wealth management. I don't know if it'll necessarily, change the full Web3 landscape. I think the big ones have already kind of been approved, but it's definitely going to change the Web2 landscape locally for people that are now going to be able to access the product.
Particularly for Hong Kong market, because Hong Kong market is always one of the leading financial market across Asia. And theoretically, if we're going to see the ETF of Bitcoin or Ethereum in the coming months, then I will expect Hong Kong will be one of the first of the market that accept a crypto ETF. That will be a very positive message delivered in the market and ensure that Hong Kong will be continue lead having this leading position in FinTech. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, it's about the mass adoption. Seen previously, or even until today, about central exchange, open account, and deal with the crypto, you need to fulfill certain requirements as a professional investor and so on. And it's actually one of the entry barrier for individuals getting access to crypto. And from that perspective, ETF is a good intermediary.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Carl and Laura. Any additional comments from Chao?
Is that okay? I use Chinese?
Yes, for sure, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, my English is not that good. No. And 所以你的问题是，就是 ETF 会带来对传统金融有哪些冲击或者影响，是不是？
是的，是的，大概这方面的一些分享，谢谢。
因为我们是一个 Family Office 下面的那个Web3 的 FOF 嘛。就是影响其实非常直接，就是首先呢，美国通过比特币现货 ETF 之后呢，就让传统的这些 family office 也好，或者银行机构也好，他会觉得这是一个不可忽视的市场然后就我们作为服务那些上市公司的这些服务机构呢，我们就会被迫的要求必须要接触加密货币。必须要持有一定的头寸，必须要理解这个市场。但是呢，就是Web3和 Web2，或者说 Crypto 和那个traditional financial 这些传统的机构是有巨大的鸿沟的，因为Crypto 诞生之初就是有点反传统的 对吧？我们讲的是去中心化，对吧？传统的是中心化。那我们想做的事情呢，其实就是在这个传统的世界和这个 crypto 新兴的世界之中搭一个桥然后让传统的资产能够进到crypto 世界里面，让 crypto 的资产或 crypto 的这些基础设施，这些新兴的玩法，比如说 DeFi， 你叫 Open Finance， 能够进入到传统的这个世界里面。那冲击是非常大的。但是对于香港来讲，可能本身就是一个非常开放的市场，我们觉得是 OK 的。但是对于某一些市场来讲，就挑战会非常大比如说有一些国家它本身自己的这个金融市场就不是很成熟，它就会受到很大的冲击比如说我有朋友在第三世界国家，就比如说某个南美的国家，那它本身自己的银行体系不是很健全，它本国的法币也不是很强势。那 crypto 进来之后，实际上就没有很多的隔阂了那么大家可能更习惯说我用USDC、USDT 去做支付，对吧？我在 Aave、MakerDAO、Compound 上面去做借贷，是吧？然后有一个，比如说美国的一个企业主要聘用一个，比如说阿根廷的一个开发人员，他可能直接会付他以太坊或者Bitcoin，甚至是比如说 UDC。那他这个开发人员获得这个报酬之后，他在阿根廷就帮助那个美国的企业主就开发了很多东西，然后呢获得了这个报酬，也不会进入到他本国的银行系统。然后他在本国消费的时候，如果也能去用 USDC 支付的话，那他本国的这些传统的金融体系就变得没有什么价值了。所以这是一个很大的挑战但是如何解决，我相信还是需要监管部门来做很多监管上面的事情。OK。
Thank you. 谢谢 Chao. Yeah, Chao just shared some very interesting views, and for example, like some of the developers might be receiving, let's say, Bitcoin or ETH or some stable coins as their like reward of like working for a company, and actually they can still, like, for example, spend like for their own like other expenses and so on, and these will be all out of the traditional financial system. And in which case, these might also bring new challenges, and be it on the regulatory side or other like areas. And that's some of the like upcoming things that we might see that would challenge the traditional like system. Yeah, and yeah, thank you so much for all our guests for the sharing. And another thing, like just to write onto Charles' sharing, is that for CBDC, that's another area that some of the governments are considering, and potentially this would be one of the ways to allow like more digital sort of payments and also more efficient cross-border transactions. So in this regard, what sort of use cases do you think will be the most like sort of makes sense to implement, like let's say in the first phase or the second phase? And what sort of effect you think that would be on our current payment system? Maybe we can start off with Carl this time.
Sure. I think overall I think about CBDC in a slightly different way. To me, it's not really as crypto-y as it seems. It's just a continuation of FinTech. I think crypto in general, I wouldn't even say crypto is an asset class. It's a format for assets. You have Bitcoin, which is an asset class, but if you have a real estate-backed token, that's a real estate exposure. That's not a crypto exposure. But as we're sort of moving to more CBDC-type implementations, to me, it's a digital transformation exercise for the banks. So it's just about creating integrations across different banks, establishing better forms of settlement, reconciling everything across all the customers, cross-bank. So, I mean, in China, they technically already have it, right? You can't really use cash in many places either way. So we've been moving in that direction, but it'll just be a lot easier to move money from Alipay to Venmo to GrabPay. It's just a function of creating those integrations and how open of a format they want their digital dollars, in which ecosystems they want to play. And these are all just continuations of FinTech.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually also heard from some industry practitioners, obviously some sort of radical thoughts as well, is that whether like CBDCs can be issued on public chains. Usually they are not at the moment. So what it means is that not like the government directly issuing it, but like probably through some sort of banks. But then in that case, usually we call that as, let's say, stablecoin. But if this stablecoin is backed by a government, then effectively it's more like a CBDC. So what do you think about this sort of innovation, I would say? Yeah.
That's a very interesting question. Say in Q3 last year, BIS Innovation Center actually published a report clearly defined the difference between CBDC, stablecoin, and deposit tokenization. And please note that that's deposit tokenization rather than tokenized deposit. That's a two different definition. And another interesting dynamic saying it is also one of the key reasons saying in the circumstance that retail CBDC or a wholesale CBDC is happening on a private ledger, however, we got a deposit tokenization on the public ledger, there will be an interoperability issue. Without thinking about all the downside risk about a private ledger, people will by nature ask if the CBDC is a retail CBDC, even though that's a private ledger. How is that, like why people still need tokenized deposit for making it happen in the public ledger? What would that compromise, on the one hand, the efficiency? And on the other hand, there's actually not efficient interoperability because at the end of the day, the deposit tokenization in the public ledger, even with interoperability, will be considered as a derivative. And the code is the law also means there will be still material risk happening if the interoperability being compromised. And that is the debate, to my best knowledge, that happened within financial instrument and central bank and even BIS level on and off. Another thing we also want to highlight, which is the unique of the positioning of Hong Kong. Hong Kong is one of only few geographic location across the world that has a commercial bank being the cash note issuing bank. And that is actually provide a unique proposition of the commercial bank in Hong Kong in the circumstance that the three cash note issuing bank is literally going to be the distributor as well as the issuer of the future e-cash. And we would like to call that as a digital cash, but it matters about what will be the format of this digital cash. And therefore, to my best knowledge, multiple commercial banks today in Hong Kong is watching the latest dynamics regarding whether or not they could facilitate the CBDC on the one hand, or if they need to make a decision to do something regarding the deposit tokenization. But the least thing they should do is doing their own stablecoin.
对，Chao会有什么看法吗？对这一部分？
你说是 CBD， would you like to replace the question as Chinese?
Yeah， 可以哦。就是在 CBDC 方面，就是我们也就是知道，就是一般来讲，它都是在联盟链上啊。然后呢，但是也有可能可以帮助，就比方说，就是那个支付啊等等方面。那比方说，在你看来，以后如果有一些新的尝试在这一方面，你觉得可以是有什么新的方式来做呢？就比方说我们在。就是市场上也听到一些声音，就是说不一定是这1-2年的事情，可能以后的事情。就比方说那些政府有没有可能以后有一些的那个央行数字货币，其实可能是通过一些银行啊或者等等，但是它是发在比方说一些公链上面呢等等这些想法，你会有什么看法呢？
OK， 就是说，其实也是一个稳定币，但是背后是央行所来控制的。OK， 我觉得这个 make sense 在中国一定是这样。就中国肯定不会有 USDC 或者是一个公司来运营的稳定币然后在香港呢，我不确定。然后背后肯定是中央政府要有所，我觉得有所控制的吧。 我觉得本身没什么问题，然后也乐见其发生。那现在所有的 crypto 领域的所有这些交易行为，全部是以美元稳定币为对价的。This is a big problem。在大概5、6年、7、8年以前，还有人民币计价的，对吧？然后，但是呢，因为政策原因嘛，所以基本上就现在全部是美元了。那其实这件事情好吗？我是觉得不太 OK 的。那我也听说港元稳定币有在做嘛，让如果说是港府或者说中央政府有支持的港元稳定币或者是人民币稳定币，能够在这个市场上面成为加密货币交易所里面的主要的交易对的那个等价的这个货币。这是对于人民币国际化来讲是非常重要的一件事情。至于它是 CBDC 也好，还是类似 UDC 这样公司来运作也好，我想用户不会太 care 这件事情。OK。
好的，谢谢分享。Yeah, and just to maybe have another like thoughts on that side, like please allow me to do a very short sort of not like selling, but like some sort of summary on like what the HKA may have been doing in this area in Hong Kong. So. The CBDC side, actually, they have sandboxes for the wholesale part and also for the retail part. The stablecoin side, they have recently launched the stablecoin sandbox as well. So if anyone is interested, please feel free to apply, and we might be able to help to facilitate, to clarify certain points if you are not aware of those. And for the stablecoin part, they are still actively like engaging like market participants, and hopefully we'll get more feedback through that initiative as well. Yeah. And for the next question, because that we see the blockchain technology and Web3 is getting more and more popular at the moment. What do you think about like how, I don't know, like for example, some more traditional sort of institutions, be it on the financial side or non-financial side, can adopt to these sort of changes? Any thoughts on that? Yeah, including, let's say, custodian and all that. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, so as you have a new format being adopted, naturally they need to build up infrastructure to support this eventually. Yeah. The problem is that banks usually run a couple of decades behind modern architecture. You still have banks running code from the 70s, and everyone that originally created it is, either passed or retired. So it's really hard to re-architect your systems to support things like crypto as an asset format. But it is something that's going to happen, I think, just not in the same timelines that people in the crypto space are used to. This is a generational change. It's going to take 10, 20 years for them to build up this infrastructure. They'll need to make very large acquisitions, spend a few more years integrating it with their own systems. So it is very difficult. And the people that do have enough insight to pull this off internally, it becomes an issue because then they just join industry.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Would Chao would like to add?
I still need a Chinese version of your question. Sorry.
可以，没有，就是说现在越来越多的，就是聚焦嘛，在就是区块链啊、Web3啊方面。那对于传统的机构，你会觉得有哪些方面的，比方说挑战啊，或者是调整他们策略的需求啊等等？
你说传统的机构指的是投资类似？
所有都可以。
OK。
就是不仅仅限于就是金融方面的。
OK， 是这样啊，我先就是 就比如说现在美国通过比特币的现货 ETF 之后，大概一个月左右时间吧，大概有流入到市场里面的资金呢，可能200-300亿美金。那这200-300亿美金呢，实际上还仅仅限于散户，并不是真正的 Wall Street 的大机构。为什么呢？就是这个市场的流动性没那么大比特币总共2100万枚而已，而且大部分沉睡在冷钱包里面，还有相当一部分是已经丢掉了，可能找不到的。所以因为昨天刚看到数据，就是现在所有中心化交易所里面，比特币的存量是历史新低。就这个流动性是非常差的，就是即便是我们所有人都认为比特币的现货 ETF 这个通过之后，那么所有的 Family Office 也好，这个对冲基金也好，它都需要有一定比例的配置，无论是1%、2%还是10%，但实际上它配不了那么多的原因不是它不想配，是这个市场没有那么大的流动性，所以问题就在于说crypto market 仍然是一个非常小的 size， 然后它的扩大需要除了比特币之外 ，Ethereum、Solana 还有很多的公链和生态，还有资产继续蓬勃发展才 OK。那我觉得现在只是开了一个非常小的口子。那么对于传统的金融机构来讲，比如我们服务的客户，我们服务 Family Office 那些人。OK， 他会开始要了解这个市场，至少是你不一定现在就要开始配置，但你先要了解。但是这个市场的很多逻辑规则、资产类型、叙事、价值评估的标准跟传统市场有蛮大的区别的。那么有一些资产类别可能比较类似，比如说 RWA， 对吧？就是有一些可以代币化的传统资产，这是他们可量化的。有一些比如说金融类的应用 ，which like DeFi。这是可能是可以算出估值的，但是有大量的 crypto 里面有相当大市值，几十上百亿美金市值的一些资产，比如说 meme token， 你是无法对它进行估值的，但它在这个市场里面有价值。那么这个价值对于传统金融市场的人来讲，比如说我们的客户来讲，它是很难理解的，它需要一个非常大的世界。所以呢，就是说，这回到你的问题，就是他们应该怎么做，是吧？还是他们应该怎么看这个市场？
对，他应该怎么做？
他应该怎么做？我觉得最好的办法就是他拿很小一部分钱，然后跟我们一起，然后来去，比如说我们做这个fund of fund，跟我们一起来投，比如像 hack、VC 这样，是吧？非常顶级的、非常优秀的这个1级的 crypto fund， 去为这个世界，这个新的世界。想在这个新的世界里面创造价值的那些 founder 们，那些创业者们，给他们提供资金的帮助和支持，帮助他们来创造更多有意思、有价值的东西，把这个市场的规模做大，从而让传统的资金能够更多的进来反过来也让这个我认识很多在 crypto 里面大概7、8年的那 OG 的很多人，就是。他已经比较脱离传统世界了，就是他所有的资产，他所有的跟金融相关的任何的这个生活方式吧，它全部是 crypto， 全部是数字货币的解决，他已经脱离传统世界了。他也很多人甚至他看不上传统的那些，觉得他们无论是思想太落后也好，还是古板也好，他就感觉这个鸿沟越来越大，他们不太愿意去教育市场了。就那种感觉，所以我们希望能够把这个双方的这个连接这个 bridge 的这个事情再做好一点这是我们想做的事情。OK。
谢谢 Chao. Yeah, Chao just had some really like cool comments that I might just summarize a little bit. Like for example, like he mentioned that for Bitcoin ETF, definitely is also like a channel to attract traditional money, but the issue with it is that there's limited supply and the liquidity isn't that high for all traditional institutions to have, let's say, 2%, 5%, or 10% of their portfolio in this asset. So the alternative is that we need a very vibrant sort of Web3 ecosystem, and a way to do it is like, for example, they are like a fund under family office, and these like traditional institutions can also follow their roots and potentially invest into Web3 native VCs such as Hack VC. And this could be one way to support the growth of the ecosystem and to see more like valuable projects coming from that. So yeah, thank you very much for the sharing. Yeah. And the other thing is that for Laura, do you have any like comments to add on that as well?
Yes, so basically, Consensys is a company that starts to build up or contribute to the infrastructure of the crypto or of the blockchain technology space. Most recently, the latest exploration have been made with, I shouldn't use the word Web2, but with the FinTech names, is that we are facilitating multiple product or multiple FinTech companies on their distribution of their stablecoin. We all know that starting from last year, we have PayPal introduced PYUSD. And most recently, MetaMask launched campaign for zero-fee on-ramping experience for on on-ramp from their fiat currency to PYUSD. Of course, there are certain restrictions today in the US that it may only happen in the mainnet, and that's also very costly. But it is, from our perspective, on the one hand, we understand that for stablecoins, in terms of the stablecoin business, especially today, we have stablecoin categorized as digital money equivalent stablecoin as well as yield-bearing stablecoin. The yield-bearing stablecoin is actually very close to deposit tokenization, or broadly speaking, RWA. Well, you can see, especially following the trend that you are going to see for the rest of 2024, there will be more and more payment solution companies, especially FinTech payment solution company, is working on the money equivalent stablecoin. And if you speak, you interview, if you have a chit chat with their product team, they will tell you this is not about they want to introduce a money equivalent stablecoin and use that as a monetized product. This is a growth product from their group structure. This is a product for them to interact with the value chain of crypto industry and introduce a payment intermediary that make themselves continue to be involved as a payment business in Web3. And that is actually, to my best knowledge, the most ready to explore or ready to scale business for businesses already well existed in Web2 or FinTech that get further explored to Web3.
Thank you so much, Laura, for the sharing. And just the last thought from every one of you. We know that there are still quite a lot of challenges for the convergence between like Web3 and traditional finance. In this respect, what do you think is the like greatest opportunity and also challenges that we see in this space? Maybe we can just start with Laura. Yeah, thanks.
I think it's 101. Until today,
Yes.
Frankly speaking, I still don't see a good enough one-on-one education material for highly educated next generation that knows zero about, like they don't have a financial background, they may not have a tech background, but they also need to learn something about crypto. But I still don't see education material that's good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's also, the education piece is a generational change. People growing up today and going to school now, everyone's probably going to have to learn about public-private key security, things like that, digital security generally. I think one of the biggest challenges for financial institutions is that, going back to the question, is that they've built these behemoths with 100 different products, and crypto can take a single product, cut out all the intermediaries, and create a more efficient model. So you sort of, within the industry, see an unbundling of the bank where you can get the same products without having to go through this behemoth and all the protocols and procedures to get access to the same products. So banks are either going to have to become very lean and innovate, or they'll be left behind. And this also creates an opportunity for them, because now they don't necessarily need 5,000 people to handle payment instructions on behalf of clients, right? So it's a challenge, but if they can stand up to the challenge, make the right deals and acquisitions, then they'll be in a really good position as this kind of becomes ubiquitous with general finance.
Yeah, thank you. And a recent news is that a stablecoin company, not to mention which one, they just got revealed that they already have 100+ people, but then their profit is equal to Morgan Stanley, right?
The most profitable business per employee in the world.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I guess the traditional world will really need to take note of that. Yeah. And Chao,
Okay, I think I
分享
can
一下
use
吗？谢谢。
English to answer this question.
All right,
For
thank
very
you.
short, I'll try my best. So question is about challenge and
Opportunities.
Opportunity. Okay, for challenge is that I think for bankers they can't understand word where for the crypto OGs always said not your key, not money, not your key, not your money. I think bankers they don't understand that question, but they should keep in mind of that. And this is a decentralized world. People keep their money for themselves. So that's the challenge for bankers, for traditional banks. Okay, opportunity maybe for Hong Kong. I think more and more people from all over the world and come here. We are sitting here. We are living here. We are shopping here. We use crypto here. So I think that give everyone the answer. So the new world, the crypto world, the digital world, more assets for Hong Kong, for traditional banks in Hong Kong. Those new people, those new assets are their opportunities. Okay.
Thank you, Chao. And yeah, just to respond to Laura comments as well. Actually, yeah, we really agree on that, and that's why for the Cyberport Web3 Hub, we have three main pillars. One is on the talent cultivation side, where we also have the Web3 Academy to help educate people, and also the other one is on industry development, and the last one is public awareness, which we also wanted the public to know more about Web3 and to make the pie bigger as well. Yeah, so thank you very much everyone for the sharing, and we hope to see everyone here sometime later, and have a nice day. Thank you.